पॉडकास्ट नाउ हैज अ स्पॉन्सर बट इंस्टेड ऑफ पैसे मैंने ली है तुम्हारे लिए खास 3 स्कॉलरशिप फ्रॉम 10K डिज़ाइनर्स इन देयर न्यू कोहर्ट. ठीक है, तो भाई तुम्हारे जब इतनी मेहनत करके आए तो तुम भी जाओ, सिंपल डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में फॉर्म है उसको भर दो. और अगर तुम्हें डिज़ाइनर बनना है और या तुम डिज़ाइनर हो और अपने करियर को लेवल अप करना है तो नए कोहर्ट में पार्ट लो. अभिनव और ऐसे कई अमेजिंग मेंटर्स जिसमें मैं भी हूँ वहाँ रहेंगे तुम्हें सिखाने के लिए. तो मिलते हैं तुमसे. बाय द वे इसका रिजल्ट आएगा दिसंबर एंड में, तो मिलते हैं दिसंबर एंड के बाद नए कोहर्ट में.
Hi,
Hey
Rahul.
Akash,
Thanks for having me.
it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. You always gotta look out for your peers. If possible, make a list of them.
That's funny. Peerlist is like, in a very simple language, it's a professional network for people in tech, especially designers, developers, product managers, founders, investors. So we basically help people to get ahead in their career with new opportunities, resources, a platform to showcase their work. And the hero of our product is the Peerlist profile, where you can showcase all the work which you have been doing. Not only if you are a designer, not only your designs, but your case studies, maybe the Medium articles, your GitHub contributions, if you are writing a newsletter, Substack, everything on a single workplace. And the second thing, you can get your work experience verified. So that's how you get your Peerlist profile verified. So that is one of the most loved feature which we have. So yeah, that's what Peerlist is all about.
So you're telling me I can't lie about my work?
You can't. So that is the core function, or the core feature of Peerlist is like a credible professional network. And that was the very start idea that or the vision which we had to build Peerlist. So every, like, if you ask any designer out there, 90% of them are engineers. Out of which 90% of them are
I have done
electronics.
two episode till now. Okay, the first one I think was electronics. I think electronics. Second one, Vishant, was computer science, and
Electronics.
I think I should just make
Electronics
this
second.
change the title of this podcast to engineer or designer.
Yeah.
That's I feel
You
is
will have-
happening right now.
You will have more episodes for sure. So yeah, I mean, I actually did electronics engineering diploma for 3 years, and then I got into the degree for 3 years. So first year I realized that I'm not going to like be a good electronics engineer. But
Which,
the story
which city
was
was this in?
I was in Pune.
Pune
So-
only. You are born and brought up in Pune.
No. I born and brought up in Akola, or a place near Akola, which is Mutijapur Taluka place. So I was there till 10th. Then I did my diploma in Amravati, which is a district place. And then I came to Pune in 2009 for my graduation. Since then, Pune.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I think I'm glad I came to Pune, because I got a roommate who was in computer science and who used to use my laptop to write HTML CSS, and that's
Okay.
how I got interested into all of that. So it used to be like very cool that you change the hex values and it gets reflected into the browser. You add a border and you do all those CSS stuff, and you get the instant result, no compilation and nothing like that. And that's how it all started. And so my brother was also a designer, and I used to follow him like anything. I used to copy him actually. Whatever he do, I have to do. He was a photographer, I started doing that. He was a designer, I started doing that. So I just participated in college competitions for web designing. So I was HTML, CSS, and JavaScript coder that time, web designer,
Okay.
and just won back to back 4 or 5 web design competitions. And that so college mein naam ho gaya. Everybody started knowing. So I was like, okay. I used to get money also, the prize money and everything. So I was like, this is interesting. I should continue doing this. Then I got freelancing projects. 1,500 rupees for a website, 4-page, 5-page website.
Damn,
And it
that's
used
good.
to,
That's good money.
and yeah, that was a good money in 2011-12, right?
And for a college kid.
So yeah, and then I still have those people who were my client that time, 10-12 years ago. I still know them, and that's how it all started. So I just told my family that I'm not going to continue or get a job into electronics or something like that. I'll just start being a designer only. And I used to work in a company which was behind our college, like just a walking distance. And after 3:30, I used to go to that office at 4, work till 7, and go back home.
Part-time
I left
jobs.
the once the graduation is done, I just joined them full time. Uh, Used to get 9,000 rupees a month. That was good
Again,
money.
good money for a college. I
And
mean,
left.
till you don't know what the
Yeah, yeah,
market
yeah.
is, amazing money.
Yeah.
Wow.
And left, and after 1 year 9 months, left that company with 28,000 rupees salary. So
Good
that was
increment
huge.
also. Double, mostly like for 2 years, that's good increment.
More than double.
More than double, yeah.
3 times. Yeah.
So,
So I've learned a lot.
before we go, I think before we start in your professional, I'm gonna take you back into your childhood a little bit, right? As you said that your brother, your elder brother, I presume, right, was a designer or like became a designer. So what was he doing? Was he making Photoshop, working in Photoshop, product designer, motion? What was he doing, and how did that have influence on you?
Yeah. So he used to do, I think he started with animation.
Okay.
And then he realized that there is a good money into web designing. So he started with Photoshop and doing designs and everything. And I had no like laptop or computer that time, so I just used to sit behind him and see him coding or doing those designs. I remember he did one of the really cool motion graphics video, and I was just blown away by that. Like, wow, this is magic, and I just wanted to do that. So it maybe like it inspired me to do something creatively. And then when I was doing web designing, uh, I realized that I can be a better designer because that time cracked Photoshop and all those things. And I just started designing into that, and I realized that okay, I can be a good designer. And my like feedback from the brothers and my colleagues and everyone, that just helped me.
So web design is a web designer, right? You are not using Photoshop at that time to design websites, or it's just developing directly on code?
No. Yeah. Directly
Directly
on
on
like
code.
write HTML, CSS, jQuery, and done. Like I never used Photoshop. So like for 2-3 years, I never used Photoshop, and uh, I still have that raw approach towards design. I still feel wireframes are overrated.
You know, right? I'm gonna use this clip to promote
Many
this.
people won't like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna use this clip in shorts and just like promote the hell out of it. But yeah, makes sense. So you did. So first year college, you drop out. You didn't do second, third, fourth, nothing. You just dropped out.
No. I completed my degree. Like
Ah,
my
okay,
parents
yeah.
would kill me if I don't do that.
Yeah, that's what. Like
So
you
I-
tell them. I told them, "Okay, I'm not gonna do this." It's like, okay, did you complete your study or
No.
not? Like,
So the story is I got a really good job, but that was
Okay.
not web designing or software, and the money
Okay.
was good. Like 3.2 lakh per annum was a good money, like 30,000, almost
okay,
30,000.
amazing at that time. What was the job, if I can ask? Like, what do you
right.
want to do?
It
Writer?
was into electronics. No. It was into electronics company, and they were paying really good. So I just got that job, and I just told my family that I proved that I am a job worthy. I can get a good package salary job, but I don't want to do this. I want to do web designing where I think I can do much better. And my dad was just like, do whatever you want to do, just don't come back crying. And I was like, okay. There was a
but
moment when I was about to cry, but that fortunately didn't happen.
yeah, but you had a big brother, elder brother, right, who was already in this field. I think your family would have been able to open up, like experimenting on this side of things, because they already had know
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
who's
yeah. So
doing
no,
this.
that elder brother actually a cousin brother. So
Okay.
I mean,
Oh,
not real brother. So I was the only son.
son.
So that's how. But and that brother was also. I mean, was doing good. He was quite rebellious, and I wanted to be a little rebellious like him. So I just told my parents. But yeah, my parents were very supportive. They were like, do whatever you want. If you feel like, take your time. And if you don't feel like you don't want to continue, you can just go back to this thing. I'm like, okay.
So you got into as I think that first, second, third year. When did you get the part-time job?
Second year
Second
of
year.
engineering. So I got direct, like second year direct admission because of my diploma. So second year first semester I was done. I was stressed out. I was like, I just can't bear this. I want something which I can, let's say, do something more creative than just this study and all those things. So that's how it all started. So I fortunately then I got a laptop and everything, and then I got good people around me, and that happened.
So you got into second year, you get the job, you started working on it, right? So it was I'm
Yeah.
gonna assume it was an IT company because you were a web designer at that time.
Interestingly, that company was called Kisan, and they used to have a exhibition. They still have exhibition every year, which is one of the India's biggest agricultural exhibition. But they had one small IT team which used to handle all the online registrations and online booking, selling the tickets, everything.
Landing page design
And
and all
that
that.
was, yeah, landing page design. Then we had a Coral Draw graphic designer who used to do all those things.
Corel Draw, that
And
name.
yeah, and then web
OGs.
designers and amazing. So that Coral Draw designer was from JJ School of Arts. So yeah, I mean the team was solid,
Yep.
and I got to learn a lot there as well.
Many of
I got to learn
our
what not to do.
many of our viewers might won't even know about Corel Draw because it's a different tool. Like if you're not into print, that much you won't be know about it because
Yes.
most of product designers don't
Yes.
know about it. But
That's exactly what I was going to say, that if you really don't know what is Corel Draw, just go and ask a printer to print something for you.
yeah,
And
and
they
you'll
will tell you, sir, CMYK mein chahiye, nahi to it will we still have those issues with whenever we go for t-shirt printing and all those things. But ठीक है, works.
it works, and also you'll see them using Excel doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yes.
you joined this company, started designing. I'm gonna assume web products, websites, and all that, right? Were you designing products at
Yeah.
that time, or working on UI or UX? Because you're designing directly on web, right? So I'm gonna assume most of the who were working on flows, who was doing the user experience side of things, seeing how it works on testing and all that.
That time there was nothing like user experience and all those things.
आना है तो आओ,
Right.
वरना जाओ.
What? Yeah. From we used to get orders from the top that we need a system where you can allow users to buy our exhibition tickets in and it doesn't matter like how fast or slow, they should be able to buy tickets. But our users were farmers who had
Oh.
not much internet accessibility or smartphones, तो वो time पे थे ही नहीं. Then you have to go to the internet cafes and then book tickets and do all those things. But like after a year we realized that okay, there should be something called user experience. Then we used to go and talk to these farmers because they used to complain a lot. And then we got one challenge from the owner of the company, that there used to be two ways of booking the tickets. One is
Correct.
you call them. The farmers used to call us and book tickets on phone.
Correct.
And the second was web booking, and he just gave us that, you have to reach 30% tickets should be booked by
Web.
the websites. Then that was something which was a challenge, that okay, we got the KPI, now how are we going to do that? And then we found very different ways to figure out how we can, but we somehow achieved it. Many people used to come with the printouts of those tickets, and it used to feel nice that these people used our system to book these tickets and all. So yeah.
So this got you into web design. You already started with this. So you left after 2 years. When did you transition to? Did you change the industries? Like where skill based? Because now like this again, a company is an IT company, right? So what was the next job?
Yeah. So next job, I took 6 months ka break.
Nice.
I did freelancing. Because
nice.
I wanted to work on things which I really like, or I have the freedom of choosing the projects.
Correct.
And that's why I took a break for 6 months, and I also wanted to learn few new things. For example, I was just doing HTML, CSS, and all those things, but I wanted to learn JavaScript and Photoshop as well. So Photoshop, I wasn't that good because Photoshop wasn't like built for doing web designing, right? It was a very core graphic kind of a thing. But we still learned and did really good projects for clients and made good money, traveled a bit. And once after 6 months I got bored. I was like, no, I want to go back, and I want people around me with whom I can talk to during the day. And then then this really interesting story happened. So I had a blog called designgiri.com.
Design Giri.
And yeah. So
I'm gonna assume
that's
it's
an interesting story.
Dadagiri ka kuch something.
Exactly. So my dad used to call me. So I told you, that story that they said, just don't come back crying.
Correct.
So whenever he used to call me, he used to ask me, how's your Designgiri going?
Oh.
And that's how I got that name. I got that domain and everything. And I started writing blogs. That time I learned WordPress, and I used to build this HTML, CSS templates, which people used to download for free. And that time I realized that I can make money out of blogs by giving backlinks. So I used to charge around $200 that time. So I had a really good page score and everything. So that I used to do. And because of that, I got to meet someone called BG, who was a CTO and co-founder of HelpShift, which was in 2014. We're raising Series B. And
the seed, Series A, 2 rounds already done.
Series B. Yeah. That time nobody used to understand what Series A, Series B.
Yeah, at that I mean, it's about which year?
Yeah. 2013, 14.
Yeah, I was not even in design. I was just getting into it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to talk to him because he was very famous in startup community. He was the first
legend.
Engineer who. Yeah. He was the first founding engineering team of ClearTrip.
Oh, nice.
And he is the one who built that booking engine and all those things for ClearTrip, and he was first 10-20 people. So he was the OG of startups and like hardcore techie person. I just wanted to meet him. I got a reference from a Facebook group, and I got a meeting with him for 30 minutes. I went and I saw the coolest office ever. Right? You had foosball, you had carom, you had there used to be a masseuse every Thursday, every Tuesday and Friday in the office. We had a massage chair, we had a gaming room, PS2, PS1, everything. Like, you just ask for it. And that was the coolest workplace I had ever seen. And I was like, wow, this is something really different. Like you have seen this in the movies, or you have imagined
And
a
heard
workplace
about
like
it in
this.
Google and everywhere.
Yeah. And it was like that. So I just got a meeting with him, and I started talking to him for uh like we talked for next 2 hours.
Okay.
He asked me, what do you want to do in your life? I said I want to continue like this blog and like do full time this thing, and I have this product design was not the term that time, it was UI designer or UX designer.
You're designer, yeah.
But that was the company who had product designer role. And he, after 2 hours, I just left, and in the evening I got an email like, would you like to interview for a product design role? I said, why not?
Why not? Right.
Because I was still into that charisma of that office and that workplace. I said, yeah, absolutely, I would love to. And he gave me a
You're like,
Facebook,
पैसे भी मिलेंगे वहाँ आने के.
yeah. that was there. So he just sent me a file, PSD file, and asked me to code it into HTML, CSS.
Okay.
I did that. I had an interview with one of the senior product designer there, and we talked about cameras, lenses, and everything in that interview, except designing, because designing first 5 minutes we talked about design and my assignment, and then we talked about camera and all those stuff. And next day I got the email that, okay, this is your offer, and I got salary of 40,000 rupees per month.
घर पे पापा का
I was
डिजाइन
like, wow.
डिजाइनगिरी बहुत बढ़िया चल रही है.
I was like, wow, this is good. This is really good. And the culture which you see in the startups right now, that culture was in that company 7, 8, 9 years ago. They were very much design driven. Design was at the core of what they do. Building the product, talking to users. Product designers used to write HTML, CSS, JavaScript code as well. They used to do Photoshop, designing the PSD files and everything. They had a product manager who used to come and give them PRDs and give them actual feedback from the users. The product designers used to get on sales call with the sales team, with the customers, and that was a different culture like altogether. And I think that is where I realized that product design is so broad. And I stayed there for a year. And again, then I was like, okay, this is like, because startup and it's very hard, it's very hardcore, and
It's
they were
energy taking. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tough to.
So it was, I thought, okay, I can take a break again, and then I took a break again for like 6 months again.
And
Yeah,
then
I mean, then I 6 months I did nothing. I actually started a small company called avarahu.com.
how are you or आवारा हूँ?
avarahu.com.
अच्छा,
And
आवारा हूँ.
that, yeah, and that company used to sell t-shirts. That was my first like
I
experience
think
with.
selling t-shirt is every designer. I mean, for me, it's still a dream. I'm gonna try to do that business. But I think everyone you ask a designer who can design is like, what do you want to do? Sell merch. That's always on the list. Sell merch.
Merch is a very cool word. Which
now I'm saying merch, but at that
now.
time, that time t-shirts.
that time also it was very cool, no? Like you're selling t-shirts and shorts and bandanas and all those things. And I think that time Bewakoof was in the market, which was like nailing it.
Biggest players, yeah.
Yeah. You go in any college, you will see at least 5-6 Bewakoof t-shirts. So that's why I got into that. I did that for like 6-7 months. Then I was like, no, I can't do this. I want to go back to my
day job.
Thing. But I did freelancing for really good companies that time. And then I got another job as a product designer itself in a small company. I was the 8th employee, Cellpoint Mobile. and I was the only designer.
Lead designer you were.
I was a VP of design. Like, I mean, I joined the company.
Mm-hmm.
I was the only designer. I was the first person who got MacBook in the company. People were jealous of me. Like,
डिजाइनर के बहुत मजे हैं यार.
या ये तो रेक्टेंगल निकालता है और इसको मैकबुक मिल रहा है, मतलब क्या ही है. Then that happened, and then after 2 weeks they like flew me to Dubai because there was one conference going on. All the leadership team was there and they wanted one designer who can help them design the prototypes and presentations and everything. I mean, I was like, wow. Why? I mean, I should continue doing this. This is the best job. And then we become a
You didn't
team
call
of like
पापा कि
4
पापा
or 5
डिजाइन की अच्छी
people.
चल रही है.
अरे मतलब like at every point it used to happen that okay मस्त चल रहा है, मतलब you don't have to tell them. I am like, hello पापा,
They see photos and all.
आज मैं दुबई जा रहा हूँ. Because I got a call in afternoon. And Emirates was our client. So that company used to do booking engines, mobile booking engines for airlines. So I worked with Emirates, I worked with Singapore Airlines, I worked with AirAsia, I worked with Philippines Airlines, Saudi Gulf Airlines, all of this. So
If I notice a
it was
pattern,
Emirates.
you work with a lot of booking or at that side of, like, I mean, the first one obviously Kishan was not like pure booking experience, but then Clear Trip, right, when he designed your last founder, right, that company, I'm gonna assume you should work in that only, right? Then this new company you joined, again same.
I had an opportunity to work with Clear Trip, but it was in Bangalore, so I was like, no. I'll stay back in Pune and I'll do something.
It's tough too. I think Pune was top of my list when I wanted to move to a new place. I actually 90% I was coming to Pune, but then COVID happened and I could not join a company which I was planning to join, or else I was gonna be in Pune because I heard so much good thing about it. I mean, I heard bad things also, but every city has those.
Yeah, every city has that gray area, but I think I love being here for like past.
There's a fun area in Pune. We can't see the name here. you got that, but yeah, whenever I meet someone from Pune, I just talk about that area. The name is so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to Dubai, you did all the design work, you came to India.
I came back, and then our headquarter was in Copenhagen, Denmark. I got my first Schengen visa. And I used to travel there for like almost twice a year. And it was an amazing experience because that was the first time when I traveled international, and that gave me a lot of experience, first-hand experience of all the passengers who used to book tickets online and how the overall experience is. Because my job as a designer was how we can do cross-sell, upsell, ancillary services. For example, you buy a ticket, then how we gonna sell them
lunch, food, dinner,
seat, a lunch, extra baggage, maybe upgrade them to premium economy or business class, and this from booking the ticket to flying, how we can make sure that they are spending good money, because airlines don't make money by selling tickets.
Tickets is not their main business. That though I agree.
Exactly.
It's always
So that time I realized that okay, you have to experience these things like as a user first, and then you understand a lot of nuances and problems. Then we came up with crazy ideas to do all these things.
Any example if you want to give crazy ideas wise?
Yeah, so the first crazy idea was as soon as you check in, we know that you have checked in now, and we also know your flight is after 3 hours, and we also know your location where you are at the airport, and we'll just start giving you we'll give you a coupon for Starbucks.
Yeah, that food is here, the drink is here, and you can do that.
Exactly. So that is the time when you can upsell them something. We also know that on their passenger list, if we have someone maybe like kids, maybe we can cross sell them Hamleys coupons. Like you have 3 hours,
Hmm.
go buy some gifts for your kids or family. And these ideas like work really well. It used to like keep the customers or the guest engaged, and they used to have some meaningful marketing and cross selling. So that was a good experience, like brilliant thinking.
So all this happened, right? So, yeah, but by the way, I'm gonna ask you, how did you get this job? Like, what did you apply on? Because many people are like, even I'm interested knowing, like, how did you went from? I think the last job you told that you met the founder, you understood how it works, and then you got into this
Yeah.
industry, right? But how did this job happen? The airline booking, which I don't know, I don't think you told me
Yeah.
the name. But how did that, like, was the interview process? How did?
Yeah.
Because
So my boss was in London, and the company, he invested in that company, and they wanted him to start the development center or the engineering office in Pune. So he was in London and he was hiring his whole like core team, and somehow he got to know about my portfolio or something, and then he just sent out me an email that can you send me some of your work. I have seen some of the work, but if you have something more, I would love to see. So I just sent him that, and the next email was he sent me the assignment, and it was a mobile app, and that was the first time I was doing mobile app, because I wasn't knowing what is the dimension for Samsung S3. I don't know what the like how you gonna design for iPhone or iOS devices. But that was an interesting thing because I was getting into the mobile territory. That was
correct.
the first time I got introduced to mobile app designing and everything. So I thought this was challenging, and they asked me to design a simple checkout flow for a bank, and I did that. And then he was the first thing he said, like, no freelancing after joining full time, and and he said me no hanky panky. I don't know like why he said that. I was like,
What is hanky panky?
Like, no freelancing. Yeah, I was like, no hanky panky. I was like, what? Like, no
Freelancing, I understand. What
I
is
was
a hanky
okay.
panky? Like, yeah.
Yeah, don't tinker around. Just focus on your
Oh.
full-time job. That's what he meant. And I was like, okay, got the message. And because I was the only designer, so it was a lot of work. I never got much time to do freelancing. I worked there for like 3.5 years and learned a lot. Like, I learned how to build a design team. I like first time in my life I interviewed people.
So that was the company which helped you, in a way, what is I going to say? In a way, get ready for Peerlist, right? Because you understood leadership.
After that, I had another company which called Athena Health, which actually like accelerated myself as a designer in 3.5 years.
Okay.
I learned a lot. Like, whatever I had learned in past 5-6 years, I learned 10x of that in those 3 years when I was in Athena Health. Because of my manager Michael, because of the team which I had, everyone is like hardcore product designers who used to they used to think very differently, and that was something really interesting. And that company was Athena Health, and it was in healthcare, and it was absolutely different. Like, and they were looking for someone for past 6 or 8 months,
Uh,
and somehow they liked me, and they hired me. The day I joined, the recruiter who was uh, uh, who hired me, he was like, now I'm relieved, because I was trying to fill this job or this role for past 8 months, and after 1 or 2 months he left the company, because he was like, oh, my job is done and now I'm going. Like, okay. And then I realized why that job or that role was so difficult. Because I joined the company in first week I applied for my US visa. In second week I was in Chennai for my visa interview. In third week I was in US. And it was, yeah, and my manager, like the thinking of my manager was, you need to understand the healthcare of like, or your users for whom you're designing. You have to like observe them very closely. And my day one in US, and I was actually in an exam room with a physician. And she was with her patient, and she was talking to them, talking about their whatever they were discussing. And I was standing in a corner and just observing what is happening, like how the healthcare actually works, from booking a appointment with a doctor to getting your prescription from the pharmacy. That whole workflow I experienced very closely. And then I realized that, shit, I have to design for this such a complex system. And there were like so many variables. And again, like that was my second time when I realized that if you want to be a product designer, you really have to wear your user shoes. And I was actually there standing and understanding how it works. A very, very basic example. I I came up with an idea that let's have, or we were working on this feature called speech to text. So
Okay.
the physicians will have iPhones, and they have to do exam notes, right? Like 12-year-old patient or like 2-year-old patient came with a stomach pain, and they just take those notes. And so I thought, why they have to type it? They can just do like speech to text, and it will just convert.
Correct.
And so I went in an exam room with a uh, pediatrician,
Right.
and she gave an injection to the patient, a 6-month-old baby. And as soon as you like give them vaccine, they start crying.
Correct.
How can you do speech to text?
At that time.
It's impossible, right? Then we realized that, okay, we had such a brilliant idea, but when you go into an exam room and when you are with your users, then you understand these crazy edge cases which you could never imagine if you are not there, or if you are not that close to that scenarios. And that was the thing. I was blown away by all that experience.
This specific problem, which like not problem but opportunity, right? That you get to work with the doctor and be in that, right? This is why I became a brand designer, like, or why I stayed a brand designer for most of my life. And I try to, like, also last few years I've been experimenting with product designers, right? Like getting into that, I meet people, I talk with designers. I have few people who are into that set, but I still can't leave brand design for this one specific reason. I have never, like, for example, I have never made my own business, like never started my own business in that direction, right? On a huge level. But I know how to. Actually run an HR company because I designed a logo for like brand identity for that company, and I met all the founders, I met employees, I understood documentations, I understood how they work, the tone and everything. And like instead of like who else gets this life? Actors. That they work on every month and learn new something about living different lives, and designers. We go work on so many different things and we learn so much. Like you have so much experience from different things. It's fun to like I enjoy that process a lot though. So you did this but while you're doing these, right? So I think this is after this you start with Peerlist. We'll get into that story. But while you're working in this, one thing I noticed is that you start with IT, then you get to a product company, then you get into another product company, right? Why did this thought never occur? Because it was not in flow, maybe because you're doing freelancing. That means you might have interacted with agencies, right? So why not that direction and just product companies?
I think I was never attracted towards service-based companies. I'll tell you, like, one of the experience which I had was when I was working in a product company, and we hired one consultancy to do a particular job, and I worked very closely with them as a designer. And I actually used to go to their office maybe like a couple of days a week. I did not enjoy the way they used to function, the way they are always doing something which they don't believe most of the times. Right. So I used to work with these engineers because me being a designer, I used to design, and
Correct.
we used to get the designs developed from
By
these
engineers.
consultancies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And I always used to talk to them, and we used to hang out, and they never they had zero empathy towards what they were building. They had no understanding who their users are. They were initially they might have been little bit bothered by that, but later on they are like, okay, just finish this task and just go home. And that was I did not wanted to be like that. And because I worked always in the product companies, I used to know that if I'm designing this workflow, I used to remember those faces, those users for whom I'm designing.
Correct.
For I know once this is done, who are the people who are going to use, and once they used to use, I used to get feedback also that they liked it, they did not like it, they hate it. And that was the you have that gratification. Positive, negative doesn't matter, for whom you are designing. There was that empathy and all those things. So I never liked to work in a service company. Maybe now studios have changed. Now the companies have changed.
Yeah, again,
Maybe.
I mean,
I know few service companies who actually function like product companies. But again, now for me it's late.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I get your point. I think now it has become more mainstream for even agencies. Because if you look at the two type of designers who are at agencies, right? First one who are more executional. Like you just tell them do this and they'll do it. And then there were visionaries who would have ideas, who will get into more detail. And some people, people who had a little bit art connect with them. So even if you notice in the agencies in the early stage, if you go into back and see last few years and maybe a decade, you'll see most of the agencies, people who from NID, NIFD, all those crazy creative people, because they needed their space, right?
Yeah.
So when I joined an agency, I was not a creative that much. So I at that time, it was very simple. You got to make this, that. But then slowly I understood, okay, yeah, this is also fun where we get into detail. You also can work in strategy. You can also understand how few things happen. You get into design problem, you start solving them instead of just creating something beautiful out of it, right? Yeah. And then I think that's where product companies gives you better advantage. Whenever someone asks me, this question recently came to my someone asked me a few days back, what should I do if I want to do should I join an agency or should I product company? My answer was this only: you understand what do you want to do. Agencies, you'll work on 10 different projects in a year. You will have to do a lot of context switching. But you will also get to work in different things. Products, you'll work on one single audience. They'll have different problems, but the audience will be same. The part of solution you will have to create will be new. It will be more I am someone who can not do that from a long time, because it just feels very I want to get out of it, then try something and back. So you can't take a break also, right, from companies hey, I'm gonna do it for a month, then come back. You gotta do it. So that is true. Yeah. That is true. So okay, how did after? I think let's come to the last part of this thing and understand how did Peerlist happen. And you also have a good co-founder, so we would love to know how did the whole thing at that direction happen.
Yeah. So I have the most loveliest co-founder I could ever imagine.
I know you would say that. Yeah. You're married to that co-founder. Obviously, you're gonna see that.
No, I mean, I mean this. I don't think I would have ever. I would have never started. Imagine starting a company if it wasn't her. I'll tell you a couple of reasons for that. I am absolutely indisciplined person. I have zero discipline. I used to, and now I'm more disciplined. I got married 5 years now. So that, and because the way we met, right? She's a developer. I'm a designer. We started working on a project, and that's how we got to know each other.
Let me just talk to the audience, to all designers. Yeah. Start doing side projects. Forget Tinder, forget any other tool. Start designing side projects. Best case scenario, you will find a life partner.
Yeah.
Worst case
See.
scenario, you found a good co-founder.
Yeah, and then absolutely, like one of the biggest, like you just made me realize that what a life-changing experience it can be when you work on side projects, right?
So obviously, I've heard I'm a great example of that. My whole life changed because I started doing side projects and all that. But coming back, like one thing I want to know, point out is that listening to your story, like the way you're telling it for the last few minutes, right? People might just think, okay, this is very easy because you have been telling it very slowly. Yeah, I got into college, got a job, got a web design, got another job, met this guy, he gave me a job. Like it sounds very easygoing. Yeah, all thing came to you. But one thing which I think you didn't talk about, and I would love to for you to talk about this, is that they don't judge, like they didn't hire you just for you, they hired you for the work. So that work still needed some hard work to get done. Like you need to show that quality is there, you need to show your skills there, right? And that like I'm gonna assume when you were in college, right, when you were designing web design, how many hours a day you were working on that?
I will say I used to work like at least 16 hours a day, more than that. See, when I got job, I was asked by BG to give interview. Was the reason behind that was I used to design so many these web templates and portfolio templates. I used to design and code in Bootstrap. That was like Bootstrap 2, Bootstrap 3 or something. And that was my proof of work. And these templates used to get downloaded by, let's say, more than 2,000 or 3,000 downloads every month per template. I used to have around like maybe like 30-40 templates that time. And that's how I got like that was my proof of work, right? And BG did not see how cool I talk and I came to meet him and everything. He did his research, right?
Yeah.
When I left that office, he did his research and he saw what I'm doing, what I'm working, and he realized that, okay, if I channelize my energy towards something, I could be better at that. And that's why he gave me that opportunity that, you can be a good product designer because this is what you have done so far. And with some polish and some finishing touches, you could be a really good product designer. And that's what he have realized. And that's why he gave me the job. And even like, so after that, as I mentioned, like I used to take 3 months, 6 months break in between my job. And I used to do
learn and experiences.
Yeah, freelancing
businesses.
and upskilling myself. And during that time, I used to work on portfolio also. I used to share a lot of things on Dribble. I used to share a lot of things on Facebook. That time it was the thing. I used to talk to. I had this habit of talking to many people who are certain level above me, and that's why I got this job with BG also. I just went to talk to him. Because I was curious, and that's, I think you need to like show off your work. You don't have to like shy away from what you do.
And the best way to show work is posted on Peerlist. Just gotta plug it in. I mean,
yeah. So,
start doing side projects. Make account on Peerlist. You might find a co-founder and a life partner and a job.
You never know. Yeah.
This should be your marketing campaign, right? Like Peerlist. Find a life partner or a co-founder.
You never know.
You never know.
A side project can lead you to anywhere. So always do those things.
Right.
So I think coming back to that story, Yogini and I, we started working on this thing. Then we got to know each other, and then we got married. And when we were planning to get married, we were not like sure should we do this right now or maybe like push it for a couple of years. But our parents were like, no, get married, just do that and then do whatever you guys want to do. So
This
I
time
think
he was not like
once,
do your founder giri.
no design giri, no nothing, nothing. My mom was like कि अपना बेटा ऐसा है, if he do some stupid stuff he might lose her, such a nice girl and all
Yeah,
those things.
I get that.
Right.
It's like
So
अभी ये
that,
illusion में है, फटाफट पकड़ लो.
yeah. So that happened. We got married, and I think that is the best decision we ever took, because then we passed that the biggest decision of your life, right? Which can make or break things for you. Fortunately, touch wood, it was a best decision, and then we moved towards like focusing on our careers, right?
Correct.
Our life was sorted. So now we always wanted to do something together. We had thought of starting company and whatnot, and side businesses, side projects, indie hacking, everything. We gave thoughts to everything. But then there were many responsibilities, personal responsibilities for both of us to take care. So we just spent almost 2 years on that after our marriage. And then COVID happened. And it was because you had a lot of time. First COVID or first lockdown, we did all those stupid stuff, plants खरीदो, dalgona coffee banao, sub like happened everything. And
Right.
then in the second lockdown, we realized that no, let's get back. We have such an like this is an opportunity.
A
which we
designer,
can
a
utilize to
developer in
do-
a home.
yeah, which we can do something really nice, maybe like upskilling ourselves, maybe learn few more things. And Yogini wanted to learn React, Yogini wanted to learn Next, and that's why she started working on a side project, which was a drag and drop resume builder. And it was just like a small project where you can just drag and drop things, experience and education and all that, and you can just download a PDF. That was a simple side project which was in her mind. She built a MVP. I saw that. I just hated it because it wasn't designed well, no fonts, nothing. I
You're like, I don't want to comment on this, but
yeah. I was like, wait, I will do something. I opened Figma. I did couple of prototypes. I gave it to her. She loved it. She used that. And then because I had this habit of sending out a survey, let's say a prototype, I'll just talk about that prototype for 3 minutes, tell you the problem, what is the solution, how it can help you.
it's the research to
And-
that.
yeah, and just send them 5 questions and you get the answers. And I learned this trick in my previous company in Athena Health. We used to call it confidence test. If you get 4 out of 5 for those 5 questions, you just build it. It's a perfect go for that.
Someone needs this product. Like they took the time to watch video, took the time to fill the questionnaire. Someone need that
Yeah. Yeah, and we got more than 200 plus responses, and that was a good number.
Also, COVID,
And we thought, okay.
like people were, I think, more open to working on computer and giving responses. Right now, people are in their lives, so they might not even. But
Yeah.
COVID was a good. I think that was I was very not blessed. Like I was blessed that I had a job and everything. But I think that was a great time to get into like making your own side projects or
Yeah.
starting something, because people were extra helpful.
And and everyone was doing something, right? Everyone was maybe all their hobbies or whatnot, writing, reading, everything. So this happened, and we just launched a landing page of Peerlist.
Correct.
We said, okay, this is going to be the work profile which you the most meaningful work profile you will ever need, and we will have this integrations and we will have that integrations. And we built we had nothing, and we just launched the landing page. We got waitlist, around 1,000 people joined, and we thought now we have to ship. Because
Yes. By the way, just
you
for
gonna get
our audience, this is called fake door testing. That if you want to see if a product works, you create a fake door, which is a landing page with a wait list, and if people are interested, you build it afterwards. But this is the way you can, like if you're someone who doesn't have a developer, don't want to get into that, make a landing page, your designer, you can do that, or even just use any no-code design tool, ship anything in half an hour, and check if that's the need, if you want to become build a side project. Continue, sir.
yeah. I mean, that's the best way of validating your idea, right?
Correct.
So many people were interested, and we just built, and we just launched our MVP on in August 2021.
Correct.
And we had around 400 users, and because of the response, and we were building in public, and we used to share things what we are doing. We used to share the photos of whiteboards of to do tasks, like this is our Jira board and this is what we'll be shipping this month. And that was because of that we got a really really good community built around Peerlist, which helped us a lot, which is still helping us a lot. And that's how it all started. And because we were sharing a lot of things in public, that's how we got our angel investors. So Vishwesh, he DM'd me on Twitter, and he was like, I need an invite for Peerlist. Can I get one? Because I like the idea and I want to test it. I said, yeah, sure. So I just sent him the invite. He joined. Next, after 2 hours, he messaged me, I'm really bullish about this idea, and I'm a small angel investor, and if you would like to accept the check, I would love to talk to you about this. I said, why not? Like, I mean, someone is giving them like aage se aage, he's giving you his money. That was the biggest validation. And then we just talked to him, and he said, yeah, I'm up, you can have, just tell me how much you need. And we did not know anything, how much we need or what. He just said whatever you can do. He's like, this is the amount I will give you, leave your jobs and start building this full time. So he was like, 50% you will get it now, when Yogini resigns, 50% when you resign.
When you resign. Yeah. But this like the angel investing obviously gives you money for the runway, and you make a roadmap and everything, but this also gives you confidence. Okay, now people needed it. Now there's someone who understands business, and this products is showing us confidence, so we can do this, right?
Yeah. So that when someone is trusting you with their money, that means it's huge. Maybe it investors, or maybe it your customers or users, right? If someone is buying your product, that means they have full faith in what you're doing. So yeah, that was the biggest driver in going full time for Peerlist.
No, that makes sense. Thank you, Akash. I think this is a great story. I think again, it's that on the first, it might sound very easy because every step is there, but the hard work is very much needed. Opportunity, obviously, luck plays a very big role, but people need to understand that luck is not something which you can't design.
You manufacture your luck, by the way.
Yeah, right. So,
right. But I have to tell you this story. So we launched on Product Hunt.
Correct.
Right. Me and Yogini were awake for 20 hours that day.
Was this before we know each other or after? I think after only launch. No, I think you launched this year.
No.
So?
We launched 22. We were knowing each other.
Yeah, after that, because I saw the whole launch thing. I was part of it. I got upvoted, so I remember that happened in front of me.
Yeah. So it happened in May 22. So we realized that we need to get out and get to the broader audience. We have to tell this to more people, and that's why we did Product Hunt launch. And what building in Peerlist and building side projects and showcasing your proof of work can do to you. We, after launching on Product Hunt, we were Product Hunt of the day.
Correct.
And it was a brilliant launch, and we were awake for 20 hours. And just after 2 days, I got message from Dharmesh that hey Akash, you might not know about me, but you must have heard about my company HubSpot. I'm the co-founder and CTO of it, and great product. I loved it. I tested it. Keep going. I was like, fish. Dharmesh Shah is messaging us about our product, and I saw his profile, and I was like, okay, but why he did not verify his work experience? And then I messaged him. I said, I have few questions as a user. How was your onboarding experience, and why you did not verify your
Experience,
work
yeah.
experience.
Correct.
Because there could be two reasons: you did not know about it, discovery is the issue, or there could be something else,
Some friction in between, yeah.
yeah, some friction in between. And I said, can I get on a call with you? He said, no, you can just send me the questions. So I just sent him the questions, that these are my questions, and he answered me like in half an hour. And that's how that one thing led to another, and that's how he invested in us. And I was like, this is something which is really interesting. You have to go out, you have to share your work, you have to build your proof of work, and things, and that's how then you manufacture your luck.
Yeah, you
People might
increase
think
the...
you was lucky. And
Yeah, I think there's a whole book around it. I have also heard about this theory somewhere, and I'm going to use the word which I think you can Google this and you can find this. It's called increasing the surface area of your luck, something like that, right?
Exactly.
I think there's some theory about around this, but I mean, you can read 1,000 books about this, but the concept is that you treat every connection, you treat everything you do with extra motivation and passion. When you do that.
yeah,
It obviously like I believe in this theory also that everything comes back, but it's not gonna come in the form you want. It might choose its own form, right? For example, Akash, I think I know him because Peerlist was this platform, and I was into indie hacking 2 years back. I was making my own product, launching a product, and then we connected. I never thought I'll do a podcast with you. We never planned this, right? We never knew what's gonna happen. I like Jay, for example. Like I love his content when he does random shit. I would never know that I could find another fun person to meet on that. But you just keep doing. Like I connect with people, you connect with them, we talk, you get to know each other, and things happen. So you gotta definitely get in there and start experimenting.
yeah.
Cool, Akash. Yeah. Yeah, no, go ahead, complete it.
No, I mean, you absolutely like rightly mentioned that. You never know when a random person on Twitter might change your life. You
never know when meeting a random person you like might get a job into the product designers industry with cool office.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know building a side project with a co-founder will get you some. I can go around about this.
So like spread your net as wide as possible, and then you will have that's how you manufacture your luck.
You manufacture.
So yeah.
Akash, I think this was really one of the insightful conversation I had. And I was blessed to talk with Arnab, who was also a design founder.
Yeah.
Right, and I got different understandings from this, and this was really interesting because this is more of Arnab was a serial founder before he built products, and then he got into this. This is a story where I can relate because I've been selling side projects, and I always say, okay, yeah, it's possible. I just gotta keep make more side projects and not stop doing that. Yeah. So thank you so much for giving me that motivation. Thank you so much. I hope our audience also get that motivation and builds more side projects.
Yes, please do. I think me and Arnab know each other because I have the username Designer Dada,
and he's the Arnab Dada. Yeah, I was gonna.
He wanted that, and I'm like, sorry, I'm having this username for past 14 years now.
Arnab Dada, we know him, but yeah. So before we close, I would love if you want to give any advice to designers or people watching this.
I think there is no specific thing. I would always say, talk to people, maybe senior designers or maybe your users. The best advice I could give is make engineers your best friends. They will make you better designers because you can design any shit in Figma. But those are the people who will make your designs glow, flashy, work, functional. So always have that designer-developer relation better. So that will help you a lot. And don't work in silos. Just go there, talk to people. That will help you a lot. Like you doing, right? Please do that.
Please, yeah. Thank you, Akash. Thank you so much for coming. And in the end, so I've just made this phrase, which I think I would love every guest to say, which is that kalakari karte raho.
Kalakari karte raho.
कलाकारी करते
बहुत
रहो.
मजा आएगा. कलाकारी करते रहो. I love that. I love that. This is the second poster idea which you will be doing for us.
कलाकारी
We'll
करते
put this
रहो.
into Peerlist का office.
Done. We'll do that. And thank you folks for watching this. I'll meet you next Monday with a new guest, with a new episode. तब तक के लिए subscribe and see you.